Cody. Frank and Duncan couldn't be here today, so it was just gonna be me. But I'm not good at talking on my own, as some of you may know. So I have with me a surprise guest.
Hi. It was a surprise to me too.
Yes, some would say the last minute possible. Even some would say I had to just ask anyone, and
That's not true. Well, I didn't know you were inviting me on. You were like, hey, Frank and Duncan they can't make it. I'm like, oh, that sucks, man. You're like, yeah. What are you doing?
and what you're doing, whose name is, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Hi. I'm Brie, like the cheese.
Brie like the cheese. What'd you think of that music, by the way?
That was a banger. That was really official. That was really good.
That's a guy.
That was cute. I like that.
Asked him if he would Sean Secret if he would let me use that.
Sean C. I'm gonna start following that guy.
Yeah,
that
and
was
as should
cute.
everyone. Yeah.
Follow him. No, that was really good. That sounded really clean, really crisp.
Yeah.
Really crisp.
Mellow, crisp, and clean. That's what they call me crispy clean.
No. All right.
So, and what's our last minute conversation gonna be about here?
So we're going to talk about two movies that are so closely related. Midsommar, which came out in 2019, directed by Ari Aster, and the classic Repo Man, The Genetic Opera from 2008.
Which seems like it was made much longer ago.
Oh, man. No, it feels like 2008. 2008 was that long ago, though.
Yeah, I guess that's another good point.
I think both films really feel the year that they were made.
That's such that just hits me every now and then where it's like, wow, I was alive for social media to become a thing.
Dude, I like Twilight pre-social media. Thank God.
Like before memes existed.
Thank God I went through that phase before I started Facebook, because already I cringe at all my Facebook memories.
Oh, I hard deleted my Facebook.
Oh, I wish.
Just
I could
what's
see
your favorite
stuff.
show? Attack on Titan.
Oh, that would be your favorite show.
Now Midsommar was one of your big movies. That's like one of your favorite movies. Do you have a tattoo of it?
I do. Yeah.
Is it showable? Oh yeah.
I don't know.
It's an
like
arm.
right here. It's my forearm. I dedicated my whole forearm to it. Now, it wasn't supposed to be that way. I thought I was getting a way smaller tattoo. But then my tattoo guy actually really liked the movie. He watched it on his own. He was like, that movie might be as close to perfect as Joker. Because they came out the same year. Isn't that great?
I didn't particularly care for the Joker either.
It's not called The Joker. Isn't it just Joker?
I don't know. I know they put if they're going to make the movie seem more important.
I think it was just Joker. Yeah. Did you hear about how they're going to make it a musical with Lady Gaga?
So yeah, it seemed a little more relevant than you thought it was going to be at first,
Man.
right? Yeah.
That's going to be like the bridge for us. Yeah, because Repo Man, The Genetic Opera is all
entirely
opera.
I thought it was going to be like The Lion King, where it's like, yeah, they talk, and then every now and then they go like, oh, I feel like a song is upon me. But no, the whole, like, even just people being like, go to your room.
Go to your room, Shiloh.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna go to my room.
By your genetics. It's pretty great.
Yeah, I loved Repo, The Genetic Opera, way more than I thought I would. Way more than you thought I would.
I was like, yeah, this is
It is... I was really like, wow, this is so influential. And I'm going through all these things, being like, wow, like so many things are clearly based off this movie. I also saw Midsommar. I did not particularly like Midsommar.
Yeah, most men don't.
Okay.
Honestly, it's really funny to watch it in a room with like film geeks, like dude bros, and all the guys will be like, I don't really agree. I don't think Christian was that bad. Honestly, he didn't deserve blah blah blah. I'm like, well, it's a horror movie, so calm down.
Which goes to my point. For a horror movie, sure ain't that scary.
I don't know, man. That one scene got me.
The scariest part about it for me was when the people are on drugs. And it was like, you know what? That is how it feels when you're having a bad trip. Not that I would know, because I am famously sober.
Sober or like straight edge?
Oh, you know what? I used to be straight edge. That was my thing. That used to be like I was the only. But now I just didn't drink today.
Okay.
So,
Man.
I'm sober for recordings usually. But maybe we can change that. We can make like drinking games.
No, I was supposed to make drinks, but I didn't have time.
All right, we're gonna talk about Midsommar first.
Midsommar. All right, cool.
Yeah,
What was your favorite part?
it's an A24 movie, and I have found I do not like A24 movies.
Well, it's because you don't have class.
It's like, it feels to me like A24 it was two friends, and one was a writer and one was a cinematographer, and they're like, let's do this thing together, and the cinematographer is just way better, and he can't bring himself to go work with anyone else, so this writer just gets these very good movies made about not that good of stories. That's how in my opinion, it's garbage.
Okay, that was really well said. So I'm kind of mad. I 100% understand. So I think every person I've ever shown this movie to, with exception of my tattoo artist, has hated the movie, which hurts because here I am with like this huge like mural on my arm, lots of hours of pain and suffering. And whatever.
That's the one where if you became an NBA player, you'd have to wear a sleeve.
Yeah. If I was to die, I was like, you guys can like put this in a book, right?
You could, yeah, they could.
You could actually.
The Necronomicon, yeah.
Yeah, you can get like
So what can we do with that? The Necronomicon, the red head nomicon.
I don't know.
That wasn't that bad for how you were looking at me.
Okay, no, it's fine. No, that was good. Anyway.
You know what the Necronomicon is?
No.
You don't know what the Necronomicon? Okay, it's a Lovecraft thing. It was in Evil Dead.
Oh well.
It's a book written in blood, bound in human flesh. So you're saying you could put it in a book? It's like that one.
Yeah. No, I've seen it. It's weird. It's kind of like what's that movie with Bette Midler? You know what I'm talking about?
With
the Halloween one, the Sanderson sisters. Hocus Pocus.
Hocus Pocus. Okay, yeah.
It's just yeah. You heard.
But everyone you showed, except for the tattoo artist, tends to not like.
And I didn't think he was gonna watch it at all. No, I went to show my family, and I was like, guys, this is like one of my favorite movies. I really love it. My mom hated it.
Which is interesting because you're saying guys don't like it.
Well, my mom hated it.
Of your social circle, so far, only one guy has liked it, and then your mom didn't like it.
Well, of what I've told you so far, you didn't like
Fair.
it. My stepdad, my brother, yeah.
Did your sister like it?
No, because my sister hates horror movies.
Okay, so that's
my mom. Okay, so my mom, when she watched it. By the way, we like love The Shining. My family has watched this movie since I was born. Like I don't remember my first time seeing it. And there's the scene in Midsommar where they're trying to show like they're going to like this new land, you know, and so the camera flips over as they're driving, and that's very The Shining. It's like the intro to The Shining. My mom watches it. She's like, "How fucking stupid is that?"
I mean, your family has weird takes.
Yeah, she's like, "Why are they upside down? That's not even how you shoot this." I was like, "Everybody knows you just." And I was like, "Well, they're trying to show that they're going into a weird land." She's like, "Why don't they just have one of the characters say that they're going to go into a weird?" I was like, "Well, no."
Yeah, she sounds like a parody of a critic. There's like, yeah, why don't they just say it, stupid?
And the bear suit. My mom really didn't like the bear suit.
I just saw The Shining. Why didn't they just leave the hotel? That's what I would have done.
I mean, I don't think anybody really did try to leave the hotel in the movie.
Yeah, maybe they did. I mean, yeah, but
yeah, in the book it's depressing. But
you know what I love, by the way, is when people just like blast their car's engine when they're going like to the store.
No, yeah, that's what you do.
Yeah,
You're always bragging about your car.
On my Honda, yeah, that has a big anime girl on the side where the gas tank is, and then I got a spoiler because it goes faster that way, and I yell out. I roll my window down and I yell, "Pay attention to me," while I drive by places.
That is very on brand for you, because you just love attention.
I love when people look at me. I love when they acknowledge my existence.
Well, yeah. So anyway, my mom hated the bear suit a lot. And after she watched this movie, because they cut open a bear, they put a guy inside it, as you do.
Yes. Now remember, we do have to have a semi-spoiler talk before we get
semi-spoiler. But
not how it. Okay.
That was a semi.
You're so lucky. I don't have the energy to edit this.
What? You're so lucky that I already did the semi-spoiling. I said it.
Well, yeah, you didn't say who, so that.
No, there is a.
Don't go
scene.
more into.
I wasn't going to. I
Okay.
said there is a scene, but anyway, so like a bear dies, but they talk about how they're gonna use every part of the bear and like, no part of it's wasted. Blah blah blah. My mom was like, I'm gonna call PETA. Has PETA heard about this movie?
It's not a real bear.
She's like, I know. I was like, what? She's like, has PETA heard about this movie? I'm sure they have. I think they have other issues to deal with than like, none of this actually happened. She's like, yeah, they cut open the bear, and I think that's wrong. I was like, well, aren't they endangered? I was like,
First of all, bears are one of the animals that can go extinct, as far as I'm concerned.
what? They're like big. Like, look at Baloo.
But look at like the panda bear is such a clear like just let it die.
No,
It's over. It's over.
It's not because they're probably gonna last longer than we are.
No, they would have died off already if it wasn't for us.
I don't know. I think they're so cute.
Second of all, here's the thing about like we never let any part of it go to waste. It's like, well, yeah, you can't. How often are you able to stumble across one of these things?
Oh, you can't like morally.
No, not morally. It's just like if you're hunting and you live in a system where you're hunting, yeah, you don't let any of it go to waste because you can't afford to let anything go to waste. It's not
Yeah.
like
I can see that. Sorry. No, I don't know, dude. She just got so mad. Like they like tortured this bear. They did this whole thing.
it's not in,
And I
yeah.
was like, that's not why. This is such a dumb criticism of this. I got so much that they don't know how to do camera work.
Well, that's the only thing I have in favor of that.
I know. Well, because she doesn't know what she's talking about. I remember we watched The Butterfly Effect. You ever see that?
Yeah.
My mom she hated it. She was like, just stick to one plot.
Now I'll agree with her a little bit on that because I love that movie, but
We all did, man.
every time watching it, I'm like, why don't you just try that thing again?
Yeah, that
Because
feels like
he would
Fairly
go
Odd
back
Parents,
in
yeah.
time and then like, oh no, something very specific happened and like a cherry bomb blew up and that ruined everything. We'll just do it again, but now and you already knew, and now you know again, and now
The audience isn't gonna get the vibes. We're not gonna learn any morals.
the vibes. Next is the only story to handle time travel well with Nicolas Cage.
I have never seen that, and I will also like to not see that.
He can see like 3 seconds into the future.
Is that helpful?
It's really like, see that this is one of those things. Now people think superpowers, the more strong you are, the better you are, but really the more limited they are, the more interesting it is. So he can only see I think 3 maybe a minute if he's like really trying into the future.
I can see where that would be.
So like but like for gambling, he can do this, he can, in a fight it is like, and you see like someone shooting at him and then you see like, well, just each second means he knows the bullet's going to hit there, so that they handle it very well in that.
Okay. I can see like here's my brain. I'm like, yeah, if you hit on somebody, you'll know what they're gonna say.
Which is what he does. That's the introduction for him using it for.
Oh, okay.
Is he's trying to talk to a girl, and then he just keeps saying like lines until like he gets one that like works.
What's that one movie? Rachel McAdams.
Superman.
Was she in Superman?
I
No,
think-
that's Amy Adams.
Amy
God
Adams.
darn it. No. This doesn't matter, but there's a movie that she's in where she could the dude that she's with can travel in time. And he doesn't like stop
I'm
anything.
sorry. Is it called The Time Traveler's Life?
No.
Okay. 'Cause it's like,
No, that's fair.
What's the movie about a guy who's with a time traveler or a girl
No.
who's with a time traveler?
No, so this guy, she doesn't know that he can ever do this. The whole movie, I don't
Oh, The
think
Notebook.
No. But that is the right actress. Good job. You got the right actress. But no, there's like some ginger dude who's with Rachel McAdams.
I love the way you say ginger when it's a guy. Just there's like a self-loathing in yourself when you say that.
And myself?
Well, 'cause you're-
Self-loathing? No.
No, because that's like one of your people.
What do you mean? What does that mean? My people?
You know, gosh dang well, but you can't swear on this, by the way. You know, gosh dang
done
well. Did you?
Why can't we curse?
It's bad for the algorithm. You can't mention a virus that happened or.
I've absolutely cursed.
Okay, well, stop doing it from
Yeah,
now
well,
on.
that
Anyway, let's talk about the beginning of Midsommar
Okay.
because I did think it had a very strong opening.
I feel like it is one of my favorite intros to a movie, in all honesty. It starts with like beautiful they're in Sweden, Swedish music, and you see all the snow, and it's all landscapes, and it's violently abrupted by a phone call. You just hear like really loud ringing, and it's her freaking out because the main character, Danny, hasn't heard from her sister in a while. So it's her on a phone call with her boyfriend, and she's clearly distraught. She's clearly upset, and he's like, yeah, you're overreacting. I don't know, man. Like, I'm out and I'm doing whatever. She's like, okay, because I kind of feel like I'm not overreacting. He's like, no, you're fine. Don't worry about it. Blah, blah. Then immediately in the next scene, we see her calling her best friend, we assume. And she's like, he just isn't into me anymore, blah, blah, blah. We see that he's out with his friends. His friends are saying, you're not even into her anymore. What is this?
You get a neat scene where each one says something that's indicative of their character. That's one of my favorite things is in an opening. I think the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles live action did it the best. But all
right.
I can break that down for you.
No, I'm sure you can.
But
and I know you will.
But how, like, because you have one friend who's like, you should be paying attention to your studies. You have the other one saying, like, you should be out partying. You have the other one who's like, I forget his thing, but it's like, I don't know, you should be out doing drugs or something. But so it's like they each are like, oh, so it's like that guy's the stoner, that guy's the one that wants to party, and that guy's the one who's like, no, I want my degree.
Oh,
and
so you like it like my mom just said.
They did it in a natural way. The thing that I'll agree with your mom on is they do not feel like real friends to me.
Well, I think that's one of the things that I really enjoy about that movie, because and a lot of times in media you see like the closest bonds that these people have, right? Like, yeah, that's what we want to write stories about, is our closest bonds that we have with people and the most connections that we have with other people. But there are times where you hang out with people that you're not that emotionally invested in, you know? So in Midsommar, it's a bunch of like acquaintances, and you can tell that they're probably like going to be invited to each other's weddings or something and then never talk to each other again after. I
can see that along the lines of this being the theme of failing relationships. Because definitely one of them particular, they have what is their friendship is dying. The other two are sort of there, but yeah, that does play into the theme of relationships in this, much like Venom does. Now you've seen Venom 2.
No.
You haven't?
No.
Oh, okay.
I thought you were gonna show it to me.
Oh yeah, we'll watch it later.
We're gonna watch it. Yeah.
We'll watch it. Now, I'll tell you the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles thing.
Okay.
Okay. Now, I'm going to just refer to the colors because I don't want to get them mixed up.
But in
the live action Michael Bay Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Okay.
When the girl April O'Neil, finally meets the Ninja Turtle, she's like, "What are you?" And they each give a different answer. So Raphael. No, not him. The orange
Stop
one.
saying
This is
the
why.
names.
The orange one.
When you said Michael Bay, I was like, you mean Michelangelo.
The orange bandit one, he says, we're teenagers. The orange one is the goofier, more carefree one.
He likes pizza.
The red one says we're mutants. He's the more serious, like, self-hating, like, what are we? We're freaks. That's how he views it. And then the blue one, the leader, says we're ninjas. He's more about the discipline, and that's where he sees their identity. And then the purple one, being the intellectual, the coolest one, he says, well, actually, we're turtles. So not only does it, first of all, here's the thing, that's the name of the movie. And then, and second of all, they each like incorporated like this is how they view themselves in it, and I thought that was amazing. Very similar to Midsommar's intro of like, you should be going to school, you should be getting laid,
you should be getting that girl pregnant,
you should be getting oh yeah, that's what
they
the
say
other
about
guy...
a waitress. And as a waitress, that's weird. I'd be really mad if that's what I eavesdropped on.
Haven't you?
I mean, I've had some stuff said, but I don't think I've had anybody. I've been proposed to a few times. Somebody promised me that I'd never not be pregnant if I married him. And
in today's climate, we're going to talk about that at the end.
What?
Like about like a politics thing.
Politics. I like how you can't even say the word politics.
Politics. So that's your introduction to them, and he's like, "Oh, sorry, I have to go. Like, I'm really busy."
You hear the friend in the background. I love that, where he's like, "Bye, Danny. Bye, Danny. Bye, Danny." He just says it on loop, and she's like, "Okay, bye, Mark," or "Hi, Mark," or whatever. Which is it just shows like how much he just can't stand her. And apparently they've been in a relationship for like 4 years. Danny and Christian is the name of the. He's kind of a ginger. I know.
Actually, yeah, I think he is.
Yeah, it's like
And
Auburn.
his friends are like. His friend's argument is this relationship is like you mostly dealing with her emotional issues and stuff.
Well, so what she's saying on the phone to her friend is like, dude, I feel like it's only me giving in. I'm the only one being vulnerable. Like, he has never cried in front of me. And her friend's argument is like, yeah, he's not opening himself up to you or anything. And he's not. He is like a door. And his friends are like, shouldn't she have a therapist? And he's like, well, she does have a therapist. Like, well, shouldn't she be calling them instead? And I can
allow
see.
me to play devil's advocate here.
Oh,
No.
I only play God's advocate. I can't.
Yeah, that's my line.
No, it's not. I said it. I literally just said it. It's on camera.
That's a.
No, go ahead.
Now I see this going around a lot
Okay.
on my feed on Instagram, which is posts where it's like, we don't owe you our emotional labor, but it seems like he owes her his emotional labor.
I think the whole movie is kind of a like analogy for like there's death and doubt, right? I think there's like a Bible
Ooh, that's
quote.
a good line.
I think it's a Bible quote. I think it's like doubt unspoken is already death, right?
That's in the Bible?
I think so.
The Bible goes hard sometimes.
Sometimes I got some deep stuff. That's supposed to be a good book. You should review that one.
The Bible?
You should review the Bible.
I got a friend who would be down for that. Yeah,
I would love to be there because I don't really know. I'm like, that's crazy. That's in there.
I mean, it's a cool story.
Jesus is dope, man.
I mean, yeah, the unwritten sections of it were like, or the parts that got removed, where it's just like the parts that don't get
goes
talked
too
about.
hard.
Yeah,
That's a little violent. You can't even talk about it here.
yeah, that's
You
like
got flagged for talking about the
oddly
Bible.
enough, by conservatives.
Okay. Found your next topic. You're welcome, Frank and Duncan.
That'd be a good name for a podcast.
What?
You're welcome, Frank.
I like Frank. Oh, I wanted to say, I have never met Frank, but I feel like I know him because I like listen to you guys. I know his voice very well. I can point out his voice anywhere, and I'm like, man.
That is the biggest tragedy whenever he's not here.
Does he know me at
I'm
all?
like, I don't know.
Does he know I exist?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, because you're the only glue between us, so. Well, that's cool. Frank, I'm your biggest
He's
fan.
about to find out.
Frank, I think your voice sounds like honey. Love
He has
you.
every time he's
Man.
not here, it's like, oh, I have to introduce this? Oh, no.
And then I only met, we'll talk about this stuff later, but I've only met Duncan once. And I wanted to tell the audience how I met Duncan.
I told the audience.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That was interesting. So we went to like Claremont at Rhino Records, which they got rid of like last week. It's not here anymore. I think
Got stricken from the record.
I think they just moved to Montclair, which is the same thing. But we were hanging out, and this guy walks up. I have no idea who this person is. He looks at you, and he goes, "This town ain't big enough for the both of us."
That's not what he said.
What did he say?
He said, "Hey, buddy, I thought I told you not to come around here
Yeah,
anymore."
that's what it was. I turned around. I didn't, because I don't like the idea of people being mean to you. No, but this guy like comes up to you and he's like, "Hey, buddy, whatever." And I was like, who does this guy think he is coming up to Cody right now? So I got defensive, and then you joined in with your Western speak with him. And I was like, did I fall asleep? What just happened?
That's what, yeah. I live in a reality where everyone's just doing bits to each other all the time.
That was interesting. And then you guys, like, nobody was laughing, though. You guys were just looking at each other like it's about to be a draw.
That's what people don't understand. The bit's not funny if you break character.
It's not funny, but...
I mean, it wasn't that funny.
But that was my introduction to him. He's like, yeah, let's sit and just talk about stuff, I guess. And the Starbucks sitting arrangement. But that was interesting. I was like, all right. Nobody approaches me like that. People go, "Hey, Bree, how are you? I haven't seen you in a while."
Now, one of my favorite bits when I worked at Jimmy John's was me and this guy just decided we're going to act like we don't like each other. So I would go like, I think his name was Jeremy. And then I would be like, "Hey, Jeremy." And he would go, "Cody." And we would just do that every time one of us came in. And then we were just like, we would just never talk either. We weren't even like friendly. We just decided this is going to be our relationship. Is we're gonna do that eye scan, and you go like, "Jeremy," Cody. I thought that was the funnest time of my life at that sandwich shop.
Okay, at the shop. It's like funnest time of your life. I'm so sorry, man.
Yes, I haven't had a thrilling life.
Well, you know what you should do.
Oh, I should go to Midsommar.
There's a Midsommar festival of my people. Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, I feel like my whole thing was doubt unspoken, sorry, death, whatever. So, I feel like Christian, the whole movie is kind of like if you don't commit to something and you're going to sit in the middle ground, that's already death within itself. Like Christian has a really hard time committing to anything. He can't commit to his thesis. He can't like fully give himself to his friends. He's having a hard time with Danny
and what he's doing with his school and
everything.
Oh, and then see now you just connected some dots in my head because what state is he in by the end of it?
What do you mean?
He's sedated.
He's sedated, yeah.
He's
dead. He's
literally paralyzed.
The choice was made for him because he didn't make it.
And he's now been made completely unable to make a decision for himself.
Just like Shiloh in no, seriously, in the opera movie with people who can't
Repo,
sing.
the genetic
Repo
opera.
Man, yeah, where almost nobody has any singing talent, but that doesn't stop them. And I'm about it. And then you see Joan Jett in there, so Christian just has a hard time committing in general in everything that he does. And I think that's why I really like the fact that even his friends can feel it, you know? We see that he's like a shitty friend or he's a bad friend. We see that Christian's a bad friend before they even go to Switzerland or Sweden, wherever. We find out that he's like, yeah, I invited Danny, but she's not coming. And they're like, all right, does she say no? He's like, well, no, I invited her. She said yes, but she's not coming.
But she's not going to come.
And immediately we see her coming. She's like, oh, guys, so we're all going to go to Sweden, like, in 2 weeks? He was going to go during her birthday. I
like his thing, too. It was like, so she's coming. I want you to tell her that it was your idea.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I think that was almost a nice thing, which I think what it was almost going to be was make her think that you are like for this. Mm-hmm. But instead he said is she coming? Like that's how what it was supposed to be. But instead he's like, tell her it was your idea. Because now it like divorces him from even it happening.
You know what? And that's some really good camera work that's done in that specific scene as well. If we look at that scene, when, if I'm correct, he walks in and we see all his friends on the couch. And you only see his reflection on like the back mirror. So he's not even like in the shot with them. There's a lot of scenes that I've noticed of Christian and you only see him through a reflection. Like he's not actually present in the scene technically. We see like his reflection in different mirrors or like a window or something like that. So he's not even mentally in the conversation or physically there in every shot. So we see that. And then we see Danny and we don't see Christian join the friends. We see Danny go over and sit next to his friends. And I think that's really interesting where she's like she's trying her best.
The Swede that's there in the friend group. He starts pulling some like I think this guy's a little shady. He's as soon as Christian leaves the room, then he's like, let me sit up next to you. No, she sat across from him and they just talked because he knew that she was going through some trauma. And then he sent her into a panic attack. Meanwhile, all the other friends were like, man, I can't stand this girl. One of my favorite things, though, is we know that... I'm going to say his name wrong. Not even going to try. The Swede guy. We know that he is into Danny. We get the whole vibe. He draws a portrait of Danny. He really is excited that she's going to be there. We can see that he connects the dots. She's probably going to be the May Queen, whatever. It's fine, right? If you guys are watching this, we're spoiling it. So okay, all right. There it is. All right, we're going to do full spoilers from now on.
Yeah, if I'm here, we're talking about this movie. We're going to talk about it.
Okay.
So the thing that does suck about... Okay, so my tattoo artist, he's a great guy. His name is Gabe. And he's like hood, He's tough. So watching him talk about this movie was hilarious. Like, if I heard a man tell my girl when I turned around, does she feel held by me? Does she feel like home? Oh my God, I would be pissed. It would be on sight. I'd have to knock him out. And though that scene is like tender and sweet, I like how my tattoo artist is like, we're gonna have to tussle right now. don't you talk about how held she feels by me, where her home is. So, yeah.
Yeah, because that's just where you first in. This guy's kind of a weasel, isn't he?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, of everybody, he's the bad guy in the movie, but also he's like my favorite male character.
He is white.
Literally. But
I'm getting more of a tan, so I've been going to the pool pretty much every day. So my tan, I was hoping that by the time we did another video, I would just be full bronze and like wrinkly from the sun, and I got a bunch of moles all over me. And people were like, "What happened to you?" I'm like, I own a boat. I go.
where are you going with this?
I was just hoping there'd be more dramatic of a difference in how I looked. I got a haircut.
No, you did. You look good.
Yeah, you look different than the last time you were on this. Being two individual people called Duncan and Frank, and you finally merge your identities back into one again.
This is it, man.
And so anytime this happens, it's because Duncan and Frank have merged their personas into one being.
So I really like my favorite thing to make Christian look human in this, and I think it's one of the only times we see him as somebody who has emotions and actually does the thing, is we do have to give him credit. He does like really help Danny when she finds out that her whole family's been murdered or whatever.
Yeah, which was a really good reveal.
The way that they do it, she calls him screaming and sobbing. We hear that,
and it blends with the sirens.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And like it's the poisoning from the car, right? And it's the gas, and you hear the alarm on the car, and then it turns into the music. Then it turns into her calling him sobbing hysterically, something like that. And my favorite scene, I think my favorite scene in the whole movie is in the beginning when he's walking up to the house. And it's like the doubt, it's the unknown, and you just see him, he's walking in snow. He can hear her screaming from outside. And he like takes a deep breath. And he walks in and he's comforting her. But I just really like watching, because I think the actor does a really good job throughout the whole movie. When I first watched it, I was like, is he actually a good actor? Or is he a subtle actor? Or is he good at, I don't know. But when I watch that scene, I see him like look at the door. I see him hearing Danny screaming. I see that he walked through snow to go over there and comfort her after he was just talking about like how he didn't really want to be with her. What if she leaves him? But he does go. He does console her. He does try to help her. Now he's like shady. He's gross. But he does something that a lot of us don't even have the guts to do in general. Like, it sucks comforting people when they're going through the worst possible time of their life.
Yeah, you were there when I watched Venom, the live action movie, and
Yeah.
I was like, this isn't at all what this was supposed to be.
No.
Knock, knock with the devil.
Yeah, so
They're gonna taste my venom.
yeah, so this movie gets gory, a lot like Repo Man.
Yeah, it's not. I not particularly more than any horror movie.
Do we have to like watch it again? Man, you watched people jump off cliffs and get their faces smashed in by like.
In the world of horror, I mean that's the thing. In the world of horror, I find it to be pretty tame.
No, I feel like it was really graphic, man. It got me.
You ever watch The Hills Have Eyes?
Unfortunately, I
Wrong Turn.
I do not like that movie. But you know what?
Dead Space.
Yeah.
I made you watch the cutscenes from Dead Space.
Yes, you did. But the reason why I don't like Hills Have Eyes is because one year on New Year's, my mom was like, "Hey, let's watch this movie," and I was like, "All right, that's fine." And she fell asleep, so it was just me watching it, and that movie's messed up. And then the next day,
it is scary, the idea of like, what if the British royal family came after you, and it really places you in the
that's like the family I'm the least afraid of in the world. Have you ever seen that video of like the Queen Elizabeth stabbing a cake?
No.
She like puts it, she's like, I think I'll stab it. And they go, good job. Go ahead. And she goes like this. And she's like, I think I'm done. She can't even put a knife all the way down. I was like, yeah, this family, I don't think they're as brilliant as her. Anyway, we watched this movie. I'm terrified. I have nightmares. And the next day my mom's like, let's just go to Arizona right now. And I was like, I really don't want to go to Arizona right now, actually.
No one does.
well, our family lives there. And she's like, let's just go visit everybody. And then I remember we like pulled over at a gas station. I was like, please, guys, we just can't be doing this. And they're like, Bree, calm down. Why are you so mad? I'm like, well, if you stayed awake last night, you would know. So anyway.
You're actually crying right now.
That was scary. I remember that. I had nightmares for a long time.
Just if you can't tell, the eyes are legitimate. The hills have eyes that are crying.
I have hills and eyes, yes.
Oh, okay.
Anyway,
oh yeah, how about it's Shakira and it's my hips don't lie, but it's.
I was like, please get the right person.
Hills have eyes. I can't do Shakira. How's Shakira go? You know, like the hills have eyes, but my hips don't lie. Sort of take the cadence.
So, what was your favorite part of this movie?
The ending. No.
I think it was a good ending.
Okay, then we're on the same side. Honestly, I feel like I liked the opening. I like that transition where she has a panic attack when they're like, "Oh yeah, remember like your dying family?" And she's like, "What?" And she freaks out, and then it hard cut, and then like it just really when she opens the door, now she's on the plane, and she's like, "Oh, this lets you know that like cool transition. They're moving. It happened again, and this is something that happens pretty easily." And she's on a hair trigger about this, because her whole family just died.
Like super gruesome and like terrible after being gaslit the whole time. This guy's like, "You're fine."
Well, okay, how about this? So she's being gaslit, but her family was gas heavied because they died of carbon monoxide poisoning.
Okay.
So that's
That
another
sucks.
theme we've stumbled upon here.
Yes.
But I really liked when they finally when they take drugs when they get to Sweden. And I thought that was an amazing depiction of what a bad trip feels like.
And it sucks because she's vibing. Like she feels like she is in the grass. Everything's beautiful. There's like the kind of like Annihilation. Remember that movie? How beautiful like the rainbow hues were. They have that.
The shimmer.
The shimmer. Yeah. That's not related. Okay. In my brain, that actually made a lot of sense, but it's not even worth going down the road. But anyway, the shimmer. Yeah. Shimmer. And then her least favorite of the friends, Mark, says, "We're like a family." And she's gone. She can't even sit there anymore. She's in the forest. She's looking at her face in the mirror. She can see her sister's body or something like that. And you can see her sister's face in the trees, I guess.
Yeah, I thought that was a really good depiction of when you... This is why if I do drugs, which I don't, I do it...
You say that you don't do drugs so much that I feel like you probably have like this huge drug operation. Go ahead, but I just want you to know I'm on to you.
That'd be ridiculous.
Yeah.
I prefer doing them alone because also when I do start taking dips into this is uncomfortable, I don't have to be. Someone asking if you're okay when you're going through a bad trip does not make you feel better.
You know what? Also, is if you're crying or like you're about to cry and you're like feeling it, like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Dude, can you leave me alone, please?" Like, I need to deal with these emotions.
I don't like feeling trapped in anything. I can't wear watches because I don't like.
Is that why you're not married?
That's one of the reasons I'm not married.
No. So, all right. So in this.
Just keep talking.
Okay. I'm sorry. You could be married at some point. Anyway, so
but the only thing I have is like when he says you guys are like family to me. That's why like them not feeling like friends doesn't like felt wrong to me because then they include a line where the guy whose role is just being the annoying one is like you guys are like my family and I'm like no they're not.
Well, okay. I like hanging out with like coworkers and lots of friends. I'll hang out with people who I don't really have that deep of a connection with in the long scheme of things. But if I'm under the influence, I'll be like, yeah, we are close, aren't we? Like, we could be really close friends. And the fact that, how often are you traveling as a grad student or working on your thesis or your whatever?
Well, as another, also being famously not a community college dropout, I'm very familiar with being both a graduate student and traveling the world.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway. Man, I'm so excited. If anything ever went, and I'm gonna knock on wood. I hope nothing bad ever happens to you. But like, if something bad did happen to you, and you died, all your people, like all the viewers, would have no idea how to describe your life. We're like, Cody, the great world traveler who never touched drugs ever, and it's like, no, Cody.
All the deckheads. We've been workshopping names. That's the name I want. They've said a different name, and I'm like, I don't
What's
like
the other name?
I think it was like Cody Sims.
No. It needs to be something about domestic violence, since your name is literally talking about hitting women. So
It's actually about
You're
building.
decking her.
It's about building decks, which is more about, first of all, literally building and adding layers and contributing, and it's possibly Polish, maybe Dutch, but also another name for decker is deckhands on ships. People who would pay their way to travel by doing the garbage work on ships, and I think that's, and sometimes people got hit, and but to label the entire clan, you're thinking of the CKs.
You know what you're doing? You know what you're doing right now, and I know that you know that you're doing it. You're like, it's not my fault that I hit her. There's plenty of reasons, right? You're like, look, she made me do it, and then you had like this long explanation, like it wasn't just about me hitting her. It's like, I never saw Marriage Story, and I won't.
Yeah, I don't need it. My parents went. I was there for a divorce. I don't need it. I don't need to go, like, yeah, well,
I've been through enough breakups in my life. I don't need this.
Here's some millionaires going through it too. I'm like, oh yeah,
I'm sure they're good.
yeah. Are the kids also there, just having to eat McDonald's while they're waiting for the?
They're like outside the police station on drop-offs. I don't know. But apparently, there's a line, and this is the only reason I won't watch it, is because I don't like that Kylo Ren says, like, oh, you're mad that I cheated on you, but you should be mad that I laughed with her. It's not just about that. And I was like, what? Are you kidding me? What degree of separation do you have to get to?
Also, you can be mad at two things.
What? What do you? Oh, yeah. She could absolutely. The word "and" exists.
I was like, yeah.
No, it's for real. That's annoying. Anyway, Kylo Ren, bad guy in every movie now. Just after that. And apparently the director like made that in reflection to his relationship and divorce and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I definitely do not want to watch you tell a woman that you cheated on that she should be mad that you like had emotional intimacy with somebody else too, because that also sucks to hear.
And also, what kind of laughs were they? Like good jokes?
Actually,
it was like,
I'm a server.
Yeah. Oh, we laughed together. Like, what'd you do? You said memes to each other?
There's some good memes though.
You're like,
I'd be kind of mad.
Yeah, just hey, check this out, and
if I'm married and then I find out that you're like sending memes to other women, I'd be like, all right, what?
That's memes have become intimacy. I feel
they're great. So I feel like we can quickly summarize the movie. Danny, go ahead.
Oh yeah, just she goes through like a bad drug trip, and then it's like, welcome to this town.
We haven't talked about the cult at all.
Yeah, let's go into the cult. We'll do Swedish accents. What's I see. I need an anchor. Well, you know what? Whatever voice you can do, we'll just say that's what they sound like over there.
So.
Yes. Welcome to the village. You will be sitting in the it's German.
Holga.
You will be.
You know what?
Do you feel? I drew you a picture for your birthday. It's like, oh, that's really weird, dude.
I think that's nice.
You think that's nice?
Anybody can draw me pictures they want. No, actually, somebody did that once. Some dude like drew a picture of one of my selfies. I was like,
and okay, cool. What was your reaction to that?
For one, I was like, all right, I expected this to be bad. It's actually pretty good. I was like, all right, I know what part of the picture you're focusing on more. Because like my face is not very detailed. Really? You know what else was?
And you were like, oh, that's sweet.
I mean, I said, okay. All right, I've never talked to that person again.
Let's edit Midsommar. It's the entire movie. But when he shows her the picture, it's just.
Actually, I'll show you the picture, and you'll be like, okay, okay. But anyway,
they're introduced to this cult. They're also like, oh yeah, by the way, my friend, the other guy, he invited his other friends to the big Midsommar. And then he's like, oh yeah, we actually used to date back in the day. And she's like, we hung out once.
And I didn't know it was a date.
And I didn't even know it was a date.
She didn't even have to say that.
And he's like, yes, well, and we will be going to the.
He's like, I'm gonna get you.
Yeah, just got absolutely blown up in front of everyone. Just
long haul. No, so I'm gonna say I don't really like the ginger representation in this movie. really don't like the way that redheads are portrayed in this movie, because we have Christian, who sucks, and then we have Maya, who is the redhead, that he's like really into. It was like last year's May Queen, and she's over here putting her pubes and stuff and having him eat in her period blood, and she's just kind of weird. She's over here like trying to get pregnant. I heard one of the arguments that people have for not liking this movie is they say that Christian was drugged, right? And you can say that, but I don't feel like he was drugged unwillingly. It's not like they just snuck it. They like gave him. They said, "Here, like this is a drink it," and he's like, "Okay." And he does. He knows exactly what's going down, like every step of the way.
I know, because he wasn't having a fun time when he was on it, and they told him, "Oh, it's the things that they told him it would do, it didn't do."
Well, it's not. And everybody reacts differently.
And it paralyzed him, and then it
didn't paralyze.
He got taken.
They paralyzed him. That's when they did drug him. Yes. Yeah.
So, the thing is, if the relationship was reversed, would you be like, "Nah, she still wanted it"?
Okay. No. All right. Hold up. I'm just saying, in this context, I don't feel like exactly he was drugged, apart from the only time I think that he is, when they cross the line for me, for Christian, is when they blow the thing in his face.
I thought it was when they clap back at him.
That was mean.
Yeah.
He's like, why would you do that?
Which, again, he
deserved it, though, because he wasn't even loyal to his friends. Like, his friends are dead. He doesn't know that.
He sold them out.
He's like, we actually want no connection with them, and
all right, yeah, deaths do start happening. People start disappearing when they're essentially like, let's get out of here. Which, here's the thing: when they're like, we're going to the big ceremony where these two people, once they hit 70, they go on a cliff and they die. They just jump off.
It's like 74 or 75.
And 74, 75, 79. The people are like the people that were brought there are like, "Oh my God, this is barbaric." I'm like, that's not what you say when you go to you flew a plane to a different culture, and you're like, and you have that the studious guy being like, first you're like, "Oh yeah, I knew this would happen. I wanted to see your guys' reactions." Like, okay, her family just died.
That was very insensitive.
But then also the other people,
could have been nicer.
The other people going like, "That's monstrous. That's barbaric." It's like, you are in another.
Well, okay.
I mean, I distinctly remember you defending cannibalism, which is a recurring theme I'm noticing with people I do podcasts with.
Okay, well,
you were like, cannibalism happens and they need to.
Not exactly true. There's a lot happening, so let me go ahead and decipher whatever crap you just spewed out.
Nice.
There's a lot there. For one, we took anthropology classes that taught us that we need to be open-minded.
And I would say I'm pretty close-minded to things like hatred and eating people, whereas you think you're a little more open-minded about stuff like that.
Yes. Anyway, so we took an anthropology class where we, and that did help me be like, okay, yeah, maybe I am a little bit more judgmental than I need to be on different cultures I don't understand. And, they talk about the elephant, whatever. But as far as cannibalism goes, I'm not like, yeah, let's like, that's why I won't watch Call Me by Your Name, because that one guy, he's like talks about cannibalism. He's like, yeah, I'm kind of into it. Like, one of the actors, he is into cannibalism. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I don't need to watch this movie. But I was defending like Montezuma, that tribe. You jerk. I just learned about something. I told you about it. Like, isn't that crazy that they would like eat people, but it wasn't like they did it to absorb their strength, and then they gave it to the Spanish soldiers, and they're like, look, like you're gods. We made you all this like stuff with blood on it and people, and they were like, ew. And I was like, well, they did try their best. They did.
What a really good story that's something like that was Fire Punch, where there's this post-apocalypse, and it's like this like small town, and it's the middle of winter, and they're like to eat. There's one guy who has two guys, but it's a brother and sister. Mm-hmm. But the brother's like, I'm going to do this. Like, I don't want you to hurt yourself. He can regenerate. So what he does is he cuts off parts of his flesh, and he just sits there, and it like grows back. And he's like, oh yeah, cut my arm off. Like, and then they go around, they pass off each of his body parts to people, and they're like, and he's like, okay, give me more time. Okay. And like, that's what they do in winter. And then this squad of like people from like from like another country, they come in and they just see like shacks full of like, you know, child-sized body parts, and they're like, burn everyone here.
I mean, fair.
Well, yeah, so it is, yeah, which he says, like, you know, how was I supposed to know you could, you know, but it is, they're just like, so they kill
How
everyone.
was I supposed to know the...
That's the only sympathetic cannibalism, I would say.
I remember, and this is very unrelated. I remember I was like, yeah, I wish I could like heal. I was telling my aunt once, like, I wish I could heal like Wolverine. And she goes, you can. We definitely heal. All right. That like the human body's amazing. I was like, man, that's not what I meant.
No, I want to heal like a Wolverine can.
Yeah, that was awesome. That's so cool.
Yeah, it would be, yeah, I mean, in my life, it would just mean that my knees just are fine again.
Aww.
My knees are going out. That's very disappointing.
That sucks for you. Okay, so Danny, she ends up being in the cult. Like after she wins this competition, she's now the Maid Queen. She has this beautiful, it is beautiful, the little flower dress thing that she has on. It's lovely. And then she ends up choosing that she wants to kill Christian because apparently she has to make that choice, and he burns down and whatever. And she's crying. And then you see her laugh and smile, right? And that's the end of the movie. And I don't think this is a Yas Queen, like, girl boss movie. I really don't. Which I can't believe I have to say. Like, you watch somebody just get indoctrinated in a cult. Like, we just watched Scientology happen.
I watched this in theaters, and I remember everyone yelling Yas Queen. And clap and like snapping instead of clapping.
They had like that
Girl Boss yelling that, and the titles you find out her character's name was just Girl Boss.
No, so I mean, a lot of people say that this is like a story talking about how easy, if you're on the side of Danny, right? Which I kind of am. If you watch this, you're like, yeah, good for her, kind of thing. Then it's just showing how easily you would be taken into the cult. And I would argue that I would rather be a part of the cult than murdered and my lungs like spread out in my back and my face smashed in, or them take off my face and use it as a mask on their naked bodies, which I wouldn't like.
The issue, I think it's a good...
What is the issue there? You tell me what part was too much for you.
See, my issue was, I think it was a good dramatic tragedy, but as far as a horror, because...
Dude, horror is such a broader...
Okay, I could have sworn I only interrupted you.
Let me give you a tissue for your issue.
What are the odds, right? Now, for that, it's like, okay, there's 4 people in this, and they all die one by one. One just dies off screen, and he doesn't even really talk about that much, because the other concern is like, oh, your friend stole this book. The way he dies is he gets hit with like a mallet, like a Looney Tunes character, and then he's also never seen again. And then
we see his foot.
Oh yeah, they planted his foot.
Yeah, that was weird.
What, has he got plantar fasciitis?
What other crap? Who else dies, Cody?
Is that what he has?
You're a double down.
That's why they call me Double Decker.
Ew. And two people just got hit.
Pow!
So
They call that the double
It's
deck.
not even like about physical hitting. Like you mean like hit him like. Anyway, go. Who else?
I don't remember how the other guy dies. Like, those are the only deaths I remember.
So, I don't know which guy you're talking about.
So, annoying guy dies off screen.
Eyebrows, yes.
And then his face is
cheating.
taken off. The studious guy, he's trying to steal a book, and they're like, no, you can't take pictures of it. That's like disrespectful to our religion. So on one level, it is like, yeah, you shouldn't do that.
Yeah, that was wrong.
He gets hit in the back of the head with a mallet by some special individuals wearing the face of one of his other friends.
You know, it was a lesson short-lived. Short-learned. Oh.
They really hit that on the head.
So the other people who die, are you talking about The couple?
The other couple, they die off screen.
Yes, but then
So
you see
it's
one
just-
of their bodies later.
Yeah, and that was good. That was
was a really
probably the
cool
most
reveal.
scary scene because it's like, oh, that's horrifying.
Yeah, that was kind of. He's still alive.
Christian gets the
He gets in the
bear.
triangle, the bear in the triangle. Yeah,
Who gets put in a triangle?
the triangle was the building,
Oh yeah, the temple.
the temple.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
He
that's
gets
the-
put in a
that's the word.
He gets put he gets put in a bear suit and set on fire
Yeah, and
with
I
like
really
two
like-
volunteers.
and it was the guy who killed the couple. He volunteered to die, and I was like, oh, he really liked what's her face.
Yeah, but he was like, oh yeah, the guy that like the girl I liked went with instead. We're gonna give him the most gruesome death out of everyone.
The guy was kind of a jerk.
No, he wasn't.
He's like, he's gonna officiate the wedding. Really? No. Like, just multiple things. Like, yeah, dude. Like, there's little comments that he had where I'm like, man, I would also not like you. But
To be turned into a human butterfly.
he had flowers in his eye.
It looked. I mean, he was stunning.
He was a pretty girl. Anyway, I really like how the Christian's in the bear suit, right? And they say that with him, they're getting rid of it's a new beginning, right? They're like, we're gonna cast all our sin into this kind of thing. I forgot the exact quote that they say.
We're going to only worry about the bare necessities.
Aww, that was cute. See, bears are important. We shouldn't get rid of them. But no. So they're saying like, yeah, this is like, I think they're kind of aware like, yeah, this is not the most moral behaviors, and we'll start over next time. So here you go. Here we're gonna put this guy in, and they're like teaching kids how to do this stuff, and they view their life in cycles, and so in order to purify themselves or to give, and I think that was actually interesting. Where I'm like, well, they're in a way they're trying to better themselves after each time they do it. Now I feel like there's other ways to try to do better. Like you could pray, get a journal. Like only one person has a journal and they're not even writing anything.
Oh yeah.
They're like, that's it. So I feel like if everybody could just like express themselves more.
That's sort of the moral of it. Because let's talk about this. This is a good way to wrap up a conversation. Also, why is it called Midsommar?
Oh,
We don't know. No one knows why is it called that.
well, it's very mid. For real.
Nice.
No, but it is. I feel like just that Midsommar, like the mid, like the. I know you're on. No, but for real, the word mid itself, it's in between, right? That nobody was dedicated to whatever they wanted. Christian wasn't dedicated to anything. Even the friends weren't like on board. The only people who had conviction was the cult. Like they knew what they were doing. Like we are going to kill all these people.
They do this every time.
Like we know they're the only ones who's clear cut.
And it's pretty much, yeah, just invite people you don't really like. Because they do,
Yeah, I don't know like how they did that.
they have a tradition similar to the Amish and the Quarians from Mass Effect and the Amish from Earth.
Thank you for.
So the Amish,
Where are they from?
Earth.
Okay.
So that's the Earth one. The Quarians,
Venus, Earth.
they're from Rannoch. But the thing is, they were like banished from their homeland, so they don't really have like a set land. So it's kind of hard. That's where it gets a little dicey. But the Amish, they go out on like a pilgrimage, and it's like, yeah, go see the outside world and then come back. So in this Midsommar cult, it's like, go see the outside world. You're gonna come back and just bring people to die
And to help procreate.
and to
'Cause
get
they're
some
we
genetic.
don't really need all of that. Like, inbreeding is kind of causing some issues.
Yeah, let's just say we have too many oracles. That's which is their role in this.
That's fair.
Now the Quarians, they live in a migrant fleet that like travels the stars and like gets resources and keeps going because they've been banished from like any home. They're not allowed to be on any planet. But so like when they reach their puberty adulthood test is you go out to like another system, aliens, and you have to bring something that's useful back. And so that could be information, food, like anything. And you have to come back with that, and then you're not out. So that's like any Quarians that other races see. It's only the ones that are out. So it's like, oh, these are naive, like unsure, like aliens without any like resources. So like they usually get taken advantage of and like sold into slavery or something.
That was sad.
Yeah, it's not like a good thing.
Well, no.
But to be fair, they were banished from their homeland because they lost a robot war that they started. And the robots were like,
they messed around and found out.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
I stopped it.
Yeah. There we go. Because the robots were like, the thing that started is a robot goes,
They fought against robots.
Because a robot goes, does this unit have a soul? And they go, what did you just say? And they're like, kill them all. Kill all the robots. And the robots are like, we don't have pain or stuff. You fought against robots.
Yeah, that's dumb.
And they said, and
they were asking for it.
They asked, like, what have the robots done with the planet? And the robots, like, when they finally talked to them, they said, like, we've been taking care of it for when you guys are ready to come back. And they go into the robot society, and they're just like, yeah, our gods like hated us, and all we felt for them was love. Aww. It's not our fault. We freaking. Okay. Well,
shame on you.
That one was on me.
That's gonna be a quarter in the swear jar.
Actually, I might not.
I'll take it. Go ahead. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna act like a mega church, right?
Yeah, what are you, the government? Just pretend this has changed.
Oh. Joke's on you. That's better. And on that note, I'm going to go move into my new house.
Those are my mail keys.
Oh, that's not even your house key? Why aren't they attached to your keychain?
Because my roommates lost theirs, so now we all have to share this one.
All right. Well, Cody.
So, yeah, did you want to cover anything else about this movie?
I've heard some like interesting perspectives on this. A lot of people might think that, or I heard a theory is that it's about like white supremacy and stuff. I guess if you watch the director's cut, which I have right here, I've only watched it a few times.
Now, do they say that because there's just white people in it?
Well, a white cult, but also, and like only the minorities immediately die.
Well, yeah, let's be clear here.
Yeah.
The studious one would not have been involved in the genetic plan there.
Yeah, why wasn't he picked?
Yeah, he's
they
like...
wanted diversity. The redhead picked another redhead to procreate with. I'm like, that's your brother. They didn't stop the inbreeding. But... threw me off. I guess because if you watch the director's cut, you see the annoying one, eyebrows. You see him reading Mein Kampf or something. Like he's like reading like a Nazi book. And I don't even know why they have that. That's so weird.
Well, that would be the only thing that would make that a part of the story. Because outside of that, it's not about... But even then, the movie's not about that. The movie would just include that in it.
Oh, you know what? I do want to bring up another thing. I think that Florence Pugh did a great job. That's the name of the actress that played Dani. Mm-hmm. I think she was amazing. And it's really disappointing to see her be in Black Widow after. She's like, yeah, I'm a Marvel star. And I'm like, you know what? You get your coin.
Yeah, that,
Disney money.
That seems to be how it works now. Is you do artsy stuff until you can get into a Marvel movie.
Just get that paycheck.
And then they'll let you do things every now and then, and you'll just be Black Widow 2 for the rest of your life.
You know what? We saw her in theaters. Do you remember that when we saw Fighting with My Family?
Fighting with My Family. That was a good movie.
That was her. Same actress.
About wrestling.
Yes. No, you're the one who wanted to watch that.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? And I watched it. That was fantastic.
I loved wrestling when I was a kid.
You still do.
It's so funny. And it's so cool. And people are like, it's fake. I'm like, oh, yeah, you watch Star Wars? You're like, this is fake. Yeah.
You watch Star Wars?
Yeah. It's like, people are like, yeah, I was watching a movie and it didn't even happen. It's like, yeah. Oh, wrestling's fake.
Does PETA know about wrestling?
Yeah. Oh,
does PETA know?
You mean The Undertaker isn't really a zombie who can't be... What? You're blowing my mind right now.
Have you ever seen bar wrestling stuff?
No.
We should go to that. That's actually really interesting. Bar wrestling is you go to a restaurant and then I don't think you know which people are going to be there, and random people get in a fight. It's like
That would be
it's
cool.
it's a choreographed fight, and it's like you're at a wrestling match, but it's at a real bar. And for one, I've seen fights in bars, and it has never not been entertaining. So
Yeah, that's funny because every time Black Betty comes on the DJ box, the jukebox, yeah.
DJ box.
The DJ box.
That sounds inappropriate.
I'm not
Cody, stop.
Okay, all right. Now, folks, I suppose we'll be talking about Repo Genetic Opera next time.
Eventually. And all the themes that they had together. Well, yeah, this was more of a conversation of people who've known each other for like a decade talking about a movie that one of them doesn't even like. Are you happy that you've seen this movie? Do you think about this movie ever?
No.
Really? Can you lie to the camera?
No, I know anytime I've talked about this has been, hey, did you see Midsommar? Yeah, I didn't like it that much. Yeah, me neither.
Okay, that's cool.
But I want you to take note. I didn't like it that much.
I think it...
Also, I don't like a lot of things. The things that I have liked, like I still talk to people about the plot of Jack and Daxter, which came out 15 years ago. And I'm like, that story, I liked it. And I still, that story is in my head, and I think about it sometimes.
You know what I think about is the fact that, and this is more reflective of you than anything, is the fact that this movie that's like, should have gotten Oscars. Like, beautiful movie, great acting. Everybody did a great job. Direction, style. Every inch of this movie was well thought out, and you liked Repo Man, the Genetic Opera more. And almost nobody in that movie had talent. I like it.
Well,
I like it.
I'm gonna, and this will be the prelude to this so this is good. This is good. I like that you did this.
Yeah, you come at me with that.
See, this goes back to my original thing.
Okay.
If the writers of these movies did not have the budget and the cinematography, they would not be as respected. And this goes all the way back to one of my favorite movies, Inc. And if that movie had a big budget, it would be beloved.
Cody.
Repo the Genetic Opera is exactly what it wants to be. It's doing it well. All the actors are doing the role that they have. And I would argue there's probably more passion in Repo the Genetic Opera than there is in Midsommar. Because when you feel like an emotion so much you can sing,
Yeah, just go to an opera house.
I want to do that.
Yeah, go watch a Disney movie. I understand what you're saying with that. Now, do I agree? No. You said Ink.
One of my favorite movies of all time.
That is not a low-budget film.
It is.
It is a no-budget film.
Yeah, they had nothing.
They had nothing. You have to have a little something.
You know what? And this is appropriate.
People know that I'm the one. Do they know about this?
That you lied to me?
I wouldn't say lied. I would say I avoided the truth for many, many years.
This movie had no budget, and how appropriate it's about dreams. Because while they had no budget, they had a dream.
That they
had a dream and themes about like poverty and like relationships and parentage and what all that means. And you're like, and what?
I think it was like had nothing to do with me. It was I tried. Again, we've established I'm an open-minded woman, and I watched. So I recommended. What movie did I recommend to you? It was a really good one. It had Leonardo DiCaprio or whatever. It was like a respected one. Jack Nicholson. It was the mob boss thing. Whatever. It was good. And then you recommended this one to me. And we like just met. And I was like, what the hell is this?
And you couldn't bring yourself to tell me you didn't like it.
No, because you were like, I really love this movie. You did what my parents had more balls than I do. Because they watched this and said, Bree's not picking out any more movies. And, I watched Ink and I went, it was a movie. It was a movie.
You said you cried?
I don't remember saying that.
Yeah.
I need the receipts on that.
My favorite things, Ink, one of my favorite movies, one of my favorite shows is Xavier Renegade Angel. And we're going to cover that. You're going to
cover that with your actual co-host, not me. Y'all will have a great time
Actually,
with that.
I got a friend Miguel, and he's a complete.
Love Miguel.
He doesn't.
Love him.
No drugs, completely sober. He is the
PewDiePie.
only person. He's one of two friends I have that like that show as much as I do, and because
I wondered what you guys had in common.
there's themes in it that you have to pay attention to, and I don't want to say that you are too simple.
Oh, you're gonna say that at the woman?
I said I don't want.
Don't I have more of an education than you?
Technically, but
Yeah.
But I have the streets have educated me more. By the streets
think
of
that
Hard
you're
Knocks.
street?
I
not
live
street.
I live on Hard
You're
Knocks
not
Street.
hardcore unless you live hardcore.
If I knew, I would have joined it on if I knew the lyrics.
I'm not Jack Black, man. I can't.
And the legend of the band was way hardcore.
Yeah, I messed that whole thing up. I didn't even get any of the words right.
All right. Yeah. All right. Let's.
So now you're gonna sing. Sing us out. Sing us out.
All right.
No pressure, but now you have to.
Addicted to the knife. Addicted to the knife.
Addicted to the Why is that the part that stays with us?
I don't know. It just.
By your genetics.
All right. Bye.
She sounded like Blink-182. Don't waste your time.
On
By
me,
your
your organs
genetics.
already outside your body.
The Repo Man. I can't remember anything. I say the thing. I can't remember any.
She's addicted to. I don't know. She's addicted to the knife.
We gotta get. All right. You know what? Let's end this episode.